Right now, somewhere in a dusty archive of NBA history, there's a name that used to make arenas shake. A name that used to be printed on jerseys kids begged their parents to buy. A name that once shared headlines with legends like Magic and Bird. Today, most casual fans couldn't tell you a single thing about him. How does a man who was once considered one of the best players on the planet simply vanish from the collective memory of a sport that claims to never forget its greats? Welcome back to Hoop Nexis, the channel where we dig up the stories basketball forgot to tell. If you love uncovering the hidden truths behind the NBA's biggest names, and the ones history left behind, make sure you're subscribed because today's story is one of the wildest cases of basketball amnesia you will ever hear. Every generation has that one player who was supposed to be forever. The kind of talent that coaches called generational, that scouts compared to legends before he even played a professional minute. He had the footwork of a veteran, the scoring instincts of a killer, and a work ethic that made teammates uncomfortable because he simply never stopped grinding. In his prime, he was unguardable. Defenders would double and triple team him, and he would still find a way to get his numbers. Analysts on national television debated whether he belonged in the same breath as the greatest scorers of his era. For a few unforgettable seasons, he was must-watch television every single night. So what happened? Why does a player like this fade into obscurity while others with similar or even lesser accomplishments get immortalized in documentaries, murals, and highlight reels that circulate the internet for decades? The answer is rarely just one thing. It's usually a perfect storm of bad timing, bad luck, and a league that has a strange, almost cruel habit of only remembering the players who fit neatly into its preferred narratives. Sometimes it's injuries. A single torn ligament, a single freak accident on a random Tuesday night in a game nobody outside the city was watching, and suddenly a career that was building toward legendary status gets cut off at the knees, literally. The player comes back different, slower, more hesitant. The explosiveness that made him must-see television is gone, replaced by a version of himself that is still good, still solid, but no longer transcendent. Fans move on quickly. The next hot prospect arrives, the media spotlight shifts, and the forgotten legend becomes just another name in a stat sheet nobody bothers to scroll through anymore. Sometimes it's the team, playing for a small market franchise with no national television deals, no playoff runs, and no marketing budget can bury even the most talented players. Greatness that isn't broadcast to the masses might as well not exist in the eyes of history. A 30-point performance in front of 8,000 fans in a city nobody talks about doesn't get remembered the same way a 20-point performance does in a major market with cameras from every network in the building. The league has always had favorites, whether it openly admits it or not, and players outside that spotlight often get erased regardless of how brilliant they were on the court. Sometimes it's personal struggles. The pressure of being labeled the next big thing can crush even the mentally toughest athletes. Off-court issues, contract disputes, front office conflicts, or simply falling out of favor with a coaching staff can end a promising career far earlier than talent alone would suggest. The NBA is unforgiving in that way. It doesn't matter how much potential you showed at 22 if by 27 you're out of the league entirely, playing overseas or worse, out of basketball altogether. And then there's the cruelest reason of all, timing. Being brilliant at the wrong moment in history. Imagine having a Hall of Fame caliber season the exact same year another player has arguably the greatest season anyone has ever seen. Your name gets buried under the weight of someone else's legendary run. Highlight packages favor the historic story, awards go to the more marketable name, and your accomplishments become a footnote in someone else's chapter instead of the headline of your own. What makes these forgotten legends so fascinating isn't just what they lost, it's what they represent. They are proof that greatness alone has never been enough to guarantee a legacy. The NBA remembers stories as much as it remembers stats. It remembers moments, rivalries, and personalities that fit into a larger narrative. Players who don't fit that mold, no matter how gifted, risk becoming ghosts in a league that claims to celebrate history, but often only celebrates the parts of history that are convenient to market. This story should make every basketball fan a little uncomfortable, because it forces us to ask how many other names are out there right now, being slowly erased in real time. How many current players, dazzling audiences today, might be completely forgotten 20 years from now because of an injury, a bad front office decision, or simply the wrong timing. Greatness is fragile. Legacy is not guaranteed. And sometimes the league's memory is far shorter and far more selective than we like to admit. If this story opened your eyes to how easily basketball history can be rewritten and forgotten, let us know in the comments who you think deserves to be remembered more than they currently are. That's it for today's deep dive here on Hoop Nexis. Hit subscribe if you want more forgotten stories, hidden legends, and untold truths from the world of basketball. Because trust me, this is only the beginning. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.